But before we dive into the world of OBBBA and how it affects state and local taxes, it's always really good to talk about what type of state and local taxes are there. When we talk about SALT, what does that mean? What does it mean to have to file in a state? When do you have to file in a state? So that you know what states we're even talking about before we dive into how the federal law trickles down to these states. So as far as types of state and local taxes, there's four main ideas of state and local taxes. You have your income tax, your tried and true net income tax. It's an annual tax return that's filed and paid, and it's on the net income of a company, both federal and state as well. And you have your sales tax, again, something most people are very familiar with. You've got taxes that are imposed on the sale of goods and services. It's usually a percent of that sale, and then it's imposed by state and local governments. So sometimes it's together on one return, as many of you know, and sometimes the local counties, areas, etc., administer their own taxes at their own level. So it can get pretty complicated. And then we've got franchise tax. So think about California, Texas, think taxes like that in states where it's a gross receipts tax or a gross margin tax. Or a tax on net worth even. So it's the tax of having the privilege to do business in their state. It's a little different than an income, not on the net income. And then we have local taxes. So those are talked about probably a little less than what we would think. You've got Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, personal property taxes. People don't talk about that too often, but that does affect businesses in other states quite often. And then we've got Chicago taxes. I always mention it because obviously we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Chicago. You don't have to have your business in Chicago to have to file taxes in Chicago. And I always like to mention that because people assume you have to be there and running your business there, and it's not exactly true.